So now we're almost down to our last video. There's only going to be one more video after this, and we are now going to be working on our weighted means. All right, so this is now going to be our next topic, is our weighted means. All right, so let's talk about this one really quick. All right, now suppose that you have a data set or you're trying to do a study, and you go to 3 taxi drivers and you ask them how much they paid for their gas at the 3 different gas stations. And let's say one paid $3.22, the other one paid $3.53, and the last one paid $3.63. So if you want to then talk about the average that each taxi driver paid, you might just want to add them together and divide it by 3. However, that may not be correct, right? And the reason for this is, let's say this person that spent $3.22, that let's say that they bought 20 gallons of gas. And then the person who bought $3.53 only bought 8 gallons. And then the person who's paid $3.63 got 14 gallons. So since they didn't all get the exact same amount of gallons, you couldn't just add them together and divide by 3. You would have to take into account that this person who got 20 gallons really paid a total of $64.40 because they were paying $3.22 per gallon for 20 gallons. This person who got 8 gallons paid a total of $28.24. And then the last person who got the 14 gallons at $3.63 per gallon paid a total of $50.82. So because they didn't spend the same total number, we would have to take into consideration how many gallons they purchased at each cost. Then we could add these 3 together and then divide it by the total number of gallons that we had to figure out how much they paid on average per gallon. So because they weren't an equal amount of gallons, we couldn't just add them together and divide by 3. This would be incorrect. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do 2 examples for this. I'm going to first show you the formula, but it's not really going to make sense, I don't think, until we go ahead and do some examples. And there's 2 examples that we will do. All right, so the formula that we have here is we need to go ahead and for each weight that we have for each of our variables, we would need to multiply the weight by the variable for every single one, and then we would add them up. So this is a sum of all the weights times our variable, and then we add up the total number of weights that we have, and that's what we're dividing by. So it's divided by the sum of our weights. All right, now let's go ahead and go through an example of what I mean by this and how we can do this. All right, so let's say that you were trying to figure out what your grade point average is if this was your school. So a student received an A in English composition class, 3 credits, a C in intro to psych, that was also 3 credits, a B in biology, which was 4 credits, and a D in physical education, which is 2 credits. And then they tell you what each letter is worth. An A is 4, a B is 3, a C is 2, a D is 1, and an F is 0. Find their grade point average. So since they're not all the exact same credits, here we have 3, 3, 4, and 2. We can't just add up the A, B, C, and D and divide it by 4. It just does not work. So what you need to do for this is first, you need to go ahead and create a chart. And our chart is going to be our course, and then it will be our grade, and then we can do the amount of credits that we have. Right? It really doesn't matter if you do your credits first or your grade first. But I'm going to go ahead and fill in, so we have our English, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in this entire chart. All right, so now if we want to go ahead and solve for this GPA, we need to find out the weighted average. So what we need to do is we need to multiply each of our grades, so the amount of points that we earn for each grade, A, B, C, and D, and then we multiply it by the number of credits we have. So this will give us 12, this will give us 6, this will give us 12, and this will give us 2. All right, then we will add up all of these numbers, which is our weights multiplied by our values. So then we add up 12 plus 12 is 24, plus 6 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So that means that the total sum of our weighted values is 32 after we multiply our values by our weights for each of those. And then we need to add up all of our weights. And our weights is what each of these are worth, all of their credits. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So we would then do 32 divided by 12. And 32 divided by 12 is 2.7. So that means this person would have a GPA of 2.7. So you might look and say, well, if we did 4 plus 2, which is 6, plus 3 plus 1, so that's meaning it's 10. You might just try and divide 10 by 4, but that does not work because each class is weighted differently. Because this is 3 credits, 4, and 2. So that means this 3 at 4 credits is worth more than some of your other classes may be because it's worth more credits. So we need to go ahead and take into consideration the weights of each. All right, now we're going to go over the example that I gave you in class as well to work on, finding your average score for the marking period. All right, so for this problem, you're asked to calculate your grade given the following circumstances and information. So test scores are 40% of your grade, homework is 10%, quizzes and projects are both 25, and then they give you what your test average, homework average, quiz, and project average is. This one, you kind of have a little bit more freedom as to what is considered your weight and what is considered your value. It really doesn't matter if you make this your value and this your weight, or if you make this your weight and this your value. It's going to be a little bit different than the formula that I just showed you, actually. So what we're going to do for each of these is, since your test scores are 40% of your grade and you have a total of 87 points for your test average, you will do 0.4 times 87, all right? And that is going to be equal to 34.8. So that means of your entire grade, you have accumulated 34.8 points so far. Your homework is 10%, so it'll be 0.1 times the amount of points that you earn in your homework, which is 95. So 0.1 times 95 is 9.5. Your quiz is 25% of your grade, so 25, and then your points that you've earned is 92. So 0.25 times 92 is going to be 23 points that you've earned in your quizzes. And your project is also 0.25, and you have a project grade of an 80%, so of 80, and that will give us 20 points that you've earned. So then to find your overall grade average, it will then be add all these together, and that will give us 87.3%. So that is your final grade that you would have for the marking period or for the year, depending on what you're trying to calculate it for. And it doesn't matter if you did this in vice versa, meaning if you did 0.87 times 40, and then you did 0.95 times 10, it really would not matter which way you kept the percentage and which one you kept the whole number. Either one will give you the same answer. But that will be our final answer for this, and that's the end of this video.